Well, welcome back. President Biden on the campaign trail today. He is traveling to New Mexico, which is a border state. He is not expected to speak about illegal migrants crossing into the southern border, however. Migrant encounters reached a new high of nearly 2.4 million in fiscal year 2022. That doesn't include the gotaways, of course, which are upwards of a million. Joining me right now is Florida Congressman, House Homeland Security Committee member, and House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee member Carlos Gimenez. Great to see you, Congressman. Thanks very much for being here. Are you expecting any conversation from Biden on the border? He's going to New Mexico today.
No, he's not going to bring that up. It's one of his greatest failures as president of the United States. Obviously, a president is supposed to keep us safe, keep our border safe, and he's an utter failure there. So no, he's not going to bring that up.
I mean, how is it impacting your community? Texas Department of Public Safety troopers stopped an alleged human smuggling attempt by an Uber driver. Now, we know these drug cartels are trying to get getaway cars all day long, but this Uber driver had 5 illegal migrants in the back of his car. They told troopers that he was, quote, selected by a client to pick them up. We have newly released internal Department of Homeland Security emails, meanwhile, describing a rough January meeting between Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas and Border Patrol agents in Yuma, Arizona. The emails show that agents told Mayorkas that policies are not working, Congressman, and yet we continue to hear lies that the border is secure and everything is fine, and it's just not true. We've been to the border and seen it for ourselves.
Look, the president has shown to be a pathological liar basically all his career. He hasn't changed at all. Secretary Mayorkas is following right in his footsteps. He's also a pathological liar, telling us that the border is secure while we see millions and millions of people crossing into the United States illegally. Then the ones that we apprehend, and the million or more than a million that have crossed the border that we haven't the faintest idea who they are. Many of those end up in my community. There's big business. Billions of dollars are being made by these cartels. This entire human trafficking, network that stretches back into Latin America and actually across the world. And so, it's big business. They make big money. The president's an utter failure. Mayorkas has, the Customs Border Patrol agents have absolutely no respect for him because he doesn't have their backs. He doesn't listen to them. When the Customs and Border Patrol agents, they live in those areas that are being overrun by these migrants. And so they're putting their own families and friends, et cetera, at risk, and the secretary and the president do nothing about it.
Yeah, I mean, voters are taking notice. We've got a new Quinnipiac University poll. It reveals that voters are more concerned about inflation than any other issue. I mean, everything is more expensive. 36% of voters say that inflation is the most urgent issue facing the country today, Congressman. It's followed by abortion, immigration, crime, COVID-19. A lot of this also has to do with the wide open border. What can you do about it should the GOP take the majority in 5 days?
Well, we need to pass laws that the president, needs to sign. I mean, look, we're going to have a problem as long as President Biden is the president, because the executive has tremendous powers, especially over his administration and the agencies. And so, but we need to pass, laws and put them on his desk and put them on notice. There are things that we can do through the power of the purse that our leader McCarthy said we're gonna take up right away. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to, defund those 87,000 IRS agents, et cetera. But look, we want to reduce inflation by stopping this runaway, spending that Congress has had in the last 2 years. That's number one. We need to have sound energy policies that restore American independence and actually have American dominance in energy around the world. We need to also give our parents, a Bill of Rights so that they know exactly, that they know and have a say in what their kids are being taught. Look, Maria, I know that the economic issues are number one, but I also think, something in my gut tells me there's more here. There's a cultural war that's about to start. We reject what the far left is trying to teach us, teach our children, and taking us in a direction that most Americans do not want to go. So yeah, the economy's big, but also what they're trying to do to us culturally and changing what America is about, that's also going to be big. And you're going to see it on Tuesday when they go in the privacy of their voting booth. they're going to reject what's been happening in America for the last 2 years.
It's a good point, because education is also up there. And, you know, the president last week spoke about attacking Republicans. Last night, he gave another speech and again says that Republicans are a threat to democracy. I mean, this from the man who wants to pack the Supreme Court, who has politicized the FBI and the DOJ. And yet he says you and your colleagues are a threat to democracy.
Well, listen, all you got to know is, you know, all you have to do, listen to the president very carefully. Whatever he is saying we're doing, he's actually doing. And so that's been his MO his entire you know career. Whatever the mainstream media is saying that we're doing, they're actually doing. And so you know what, the American people aren't dumb. The American people know exactly what's going on. And again, like I said, when they get into that voting booth on Tuesday and all the ones that have already shipped in their ballots, I think you're going to see a red tsunami. And it's not just about economic issues. It is about the culture and trying to change what America is about. Taking away our freedoms, you know, trying to censor us, you know, trying to tell us that there are 97 different genders, all that foolishness. It's going to come back and haunt the Democrats. And you know what? We have to win this war, because it is for the heart and soul of America. And as somebody who immigrated to this country, you know, the country that they want to lead us, or the new country that they want America to be, is not the country that my parents brought me to, and it's certainly not the country that I want to leave to my children and my grandchildren. And so, yeah, we need to fight this war, and it needs to be fought right now. We need to win it. Yeah,
here's a newsflash. Men cannot have babies, okay? So stop it. Congressman, in terms of what's going to take place next week, I know that you and your colleagues are looking forward to potential big victory, but when you look at the amount of seats that the GOP could take, what can that mean in terms of practical legislation or stopping bad policy?
Well, remember, we can stop certain things, but in order to enact legislation, you also need the president. At the end, they got to sign it. The president can also veto it. And so we need control of the House. We need to control the Senate. We can stop a lot of the things that are happening. But in order to change and go back, because it's not a question of just stopping what the Democrats have done, the extreme left has done. We need to move that stick back, okay, back to the right, back to sanity. We're going to need a president in 2024, but it starts Tuesday by taking the House, by taking the Senate, and then we have to finish the job in 24 by electing a Republican president to move this country back to what we need to move it back to, and stop these insane policies that the Democrats want to push, you know, on all of us here in America.
Congressman, real quick, do you think the ultimate goal here is to get illegals to vote? Because there's an effort underway right now in Washington, D.C. to allow illegal citizens in this country the opportunity to vote. I mean, it's just extraordinary to me that this president says that the Republicans are a threat to democracy. Meanwhile, he's completely going against the Constitution, allowing non-citizens to vote. Is that what this is about, the wide open border?
Look, I mean, you got to ask him what's about it. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You know, yeah, I do believe that their ultimate goal is to start packing, you know, what they consider to be reliable Democrat voters for the future. But you know what? Most of them, a lot of them are Hispanics. They don't have the same value system that the Democrats do. You're seeing that right now as Hispanics are flocking to the GOP, and it may backfire on them. But you know what? You know, it's not right. It's illegal. It's against the Constitution. We need to have a secure border. We need legal immigration. That's not the chaos that we have at the southern border right now. And I think that that's probably what they're looking for, because it doesn't make any sense otherwise. All right.
Congressman, it's good to see you. Thanks very much. Carlos Gimenez joining us this morning. We appreciate your time.